Musketeers, welcome to the Disneyland Beat, where our toes tap to a Disneyland drum.
And we always whistle while we work.
Today, we discuss the July headlines for Disneyland, including what attractions and dining options are open, character meet and greets, and live theater inside the park.
We talk about what we can all expect for the upcoming Halloween season, including the Oogie Boogie Bash.
And the future of Fastpass and annual pass memberships at Disneyland.
Come on into the parks with us.
Like, subscribe, and stick around.
Disneyland is your land.
Come seek an adventure into your pirates, eh?
Made the jump to Lightspeed.
Hi everyone, I'm TC.
And I'm Amy. This month, Disneyland celebrated its 66th anniversary, and it's really looking wonderful. On our July visit, we noticed lots of refurbishments from the updated Jungle Cruise and Snow White's Enchanted Wish, and the stylish and classic Disneyland Hotel reopening its doors.
Oh, and speaking of Jungle Cruise, heads up if you're headed to the parks this weekend. With much of the red carpet premiere of the film happening inside Disneyland, the celebrities are visiting the park. The Rock and Emily Blunt have been seen around the park and downtown Disney.
But also be aware that several of the attractions in Fantasyland and Jungle Cruise and It's a Small World will close early to accommodate the filming and movie stars, and no fireworks.
When it comes to attractions, it's easier to talk about what rides are not open. At Disneyland, it's a pretty short list. The monorail and the Finding Nemo subs are the only two rides that are not open at this point. We don't have specific dates on the monorail, but there are fences around the submarine voyage saying that it will be resurfacing this winter.
At DCA, the only ride not open is the red car trolley, and we don't have an expected return date for that. But when you visit, be sure to stop by Mickey's PhilharMagic. The film has a new scene added for the first time in 20 years. Imagineers talked about how they hoped the film would change over time, and for this edition, they added some delightful scenes from Koeppe.
Some rides are undergoing refurbishment in August in preparation for the Halloween season, which runs September 3rd through October 31st with overlays and decorations at both parks. Disneyland will have a pumpkin festival on Main Street, USA, and the Haunted Mansion will get made over to Haunted Mansion Holiday again. Can't wait to see what is on the new portrait in the foyer, and we're looking forward to the new mashup gingerbread creation in the ballroom.
Also, the nighttime spectacular Halloween Screams will return to Disneyland as well. Cars Land will do its full makeover, and Guardians of the Galaxy's Monsters After Dark will come back. And something awesome over at DCA, the extra hours ticketed event, the Oogie Boogie Bash, will return this year.
The first official parade to return to Disneyland will be the Frightfully Fun Parade, which is part of the Oogie Boogie Bash. They will also be remaking over the Red Creek Challenge Trail into Villains Grove again, which is a cool walkthrough with neat lighting, characters, and effects. We're really happy to see the Bash return, and heads up to people visiting on weekends in September and October, you should keep it in mind that it's happening. There is some construction going on inside the parks, but nothing that's going to get in the way of your visit. New Orleans Square is getting a refresh with several of the upper facades behind construction scrims getting work done.
Over in DCA, we noticed Flo's V8 Cafe getting work done to its outdoor seating section, and Avengers Campus was wrapping up work on what is surely its very own Skybeam, a necessary element to any MCU film.
Most of the dining options at the park have returned. Even character dining at the Plaza Inn has come back, but a small handful have not. At Disneyland, the Carnation Cafe and the Golden Horseshoe have not yet returned. And also, the Royal Street Veranda and all of the dining options at the food court in Mickey's Toontown are also temporarily closed due to construction.
Over at DCA, there are some places closed as well. Boardwalk Pizza and Pasta and the Pacific Wharf Cafe are closed, so still no bread bowls. But otherwise, pretty much everything is open in both parks. We had no problems in our most recent visit and only had to plan about 30 minutes ahead with counter service locations.
Be sure to make reservations for table service options inside the park. At Disneyland, you have Cafe Orleans, the Blue Bayou, and Oga's Cantina, and at DCA, you have Carthay Circle, which is now fully open, and Wine Country Trattoria. Wine Country just announced it would be limiting its hours soon. Maybe table service has not had that much demand as the parks reopen, but maybe it also has staffing issues. We're happy to see table service back, however.
Also of note, buffets have returned to Disneyland. If you've never been, be sure to visit the Storytellers Cafe at the Grand Californian Hotel for a delightful buffet meal with more options than you can imagine.
There have been no announcements about World of Color returning by Halloween, as we had hoped. While in the park, we noticed work being done to the projection towers on the show. We still hope it returns in 2021.
Over Over at Disneyland, there are still no updates about Fantasmic, and it looks like it will continue to be a while before our favorite Disneyland show returns.
We are really looking forward to the return of theater at Disneyland, and that hasn't happened yet on a large scale, with the exception of the Characters and Avengers Campus. Avengers Campus has 5 mini-shows that are all wonderful, though they're only about 15 minutes each, but we highly recommend checking out all of them. From the Dora Milaje to the new Spider-Man animatronic stunt show, they're a lot of fun, and the Guardians of the Galaxy dance-off is back.
But there are no shows happening at the larger stages in either park at the moment. The Royal Theater, with its storytelling, is still serving as an occasional meet and greet and has not reopened its shows. The Royal Hall has not reopened yet either, though the exterior is being used for character meet and greets as well.
And the Disney Junior Theater just had the Disney Theater signage up when we were in the park, with very little to signal the Disney Junior shows would be returning soon. Though we have, and we do suspect that will be one of the first theater shows to come back.
The Hyperion at DCA and the Fantasyland Theater at Disneyland are sitting empty, and we think that it'll be 2022 before we see anything new in either of them by the looks of things.
Character meet and greets, they're status quo, meaning that there's very few traditional character greets, and all of the indoor ones like Mickey and Minnie's House, Royal Hall, the Elsa and Anna meet and greet, those are not happening.
But at the same time, we actually really like the current character meet and greet setup. Usually, it takes some serious effort to get to meet Mickey, but with the current setup, it's really easy. He might be in a cavalcade or hanging out at the Main Street Station steps or on his porch. There are no long lines, just small crowds separated by a rope.
We're looking forward to some closer meet and greets, but you know, they really are what you make of them, and you can have some very magical interactions. Yeah!
We wanted to take a second to give a shout out to our on-the-scene reporter Damien from Damien Does Disney. We got to meet up with him this last month, and he and TC did a live stream in downtown Disney over on his channel. You should go check it out. He'll be back with us next month doing his on-the-scene report again.
In national Disney park news, Fastpass is really on quite a few people's minds. Long lines have returned to the parks on both coasts. Walt Disney World has been seeing very long lines, and during our visit to Disneyland, we saw what looked like full capacity and up to 2-hour waits. Disneyland is currently standby only. They are operating the rider switch programs, and a few rides have single rider lines, but mainly it's standby only.
So we're all wondering what will come next. And if crowds continue to increase, there will be more and more demand for Fastpass to return in some form. We put out a video recently where we suggested that currently standby only worked well at Disneyland, but it was a bit more frustrating at DCA with that park having far fewer rides.
At Disneyland Paris, what is called the Premier Pass system was recently implemented, where park guests pay an extra fee per ride to get a Fastpass. The model uses demand pricing, so depending on the crowds, getting a single Fastpass can cost between $10 to $18. And yes, we converted that from euros correctly.
We don't know what system will come back to Disneyland, but we're confident that something eventually will, be it virtual queue, mass pass, or the new Premier Pass, all of which seem possible.
Maybe we will get an idea of the new Fastpass system we're getting when the annual pass announcements come out. There is currently no news on what that is, on what the annual pass or membership offerings will be, but we personally expect an announcement by October 31st.
In general Disney news, we noticed that Disney is relocating about 2,000 employees, including many in Imagineering, to the Orlando campus. Disney will be able to take advantage of some pretty significant tax breaks in doing so.
We somewhat selfishly hope that the heart of Imagineering stays in California, as we think Disneyland benefits from that proximity, and it keeps the magic of Walt's original park, the source of all Disney park magic, alive.
Well, that's it for us today, folks. We hope you're having a magical Disney summer.
See you real soon, Mouseketeers.
See you real soon.